I did not hunger nor thirst. The forest kept itself remote and obedient, and I found myself under its shade. The image could not leave me of what I had seen, but still a warm obscurity flooded my consciousness. I felt surprisingly clear and optimistic. Stretching my neck up to the heights of the pines, I did see something. Tears rolled down my cheeks at the majesty of my solitude. Colossal towers loomed above me, their sweet, citric aroma touching my brain and reaching up far into the sky. Home. I continued on my path northwest of the world. I let myself be pulled in a spiral, it almost seemed, upwards along the world. As I was carried along the current, eyes and fingers poked out from the brush, and then whispers and chatterings spoke through. I could feel their hands gliding along my skin as I skipped past them until one grabbed hold of me. Strong, pale, muscular arms spun me around and enveloped me into an embrace. In some foreign dialect, he told me something. He wanted me. The others liked me, but he loved me. And now that I am with him alone, nature was freed. Back in the research laboratory, Dr. Techniker tapped the end of his nose at each syllable. Punctuality. Ancient stone walls loomed high over the interior threshold. All the matter that rested and moved inside this gray world swelled with anticipation and poise. Everything erected inclined no further than its function. But this was music, and the notes that swam in this ethereal sea possessed its each and individual life's purpose. A whole school of thought pressed through the doctor's sieve of binary zeros and ones. It was simple and complex, ordinary yet miraculous. It was a program that meant everlasting freedom. Yet words seemed to become dark, unpossessed, as the doctor crushed a music sheet in his right hand. Crumpled and dormant, the parchment lied there, crumpled and dry. It would become nothing ever again, as it rested in fatalistic peace and misery within the cylinder of a rubbish bin. Glass and silicon whirred incessantly inside the laboratory, and its infinite digits muttered back and forth between 0 and 1. As vapor, it rose above the grunting machines. Higher and higher along the gray, hard stone did it glide, assuming to the Faustian heights of the massive vault it was in. The ceiling arched high at an impressive figure, and these digits soared far into it, filling it with a heat of its own, a primordial heat that gives birth to everything, even in the most impossible of ways. Its warmth coagulated into strings of numbers, which became letters, which then emulated a resonance that shot through the pitch darkness of its cathedral sky. And then Some medieval crystal goddess illuminated the way. Within the cold stone, a stained glass window stretched tall in its many singular fragments of its design, and all were in order, just the same as whence these digits were conjured far below in the recesses of the doctor's techno-alchemy. Moisture had also collected outside, and thunder growled as the rain beat hard against the lonely cathedral. Outside, it stood like a saint with its hood cast down, gazing at the feet of all the forests within an untold country. Somewhere in the bowels of the world, there is a symphony of hope. Somewhere where the days are gray and the nights are black. Lightning flashed. The Moonstone. Where is the Moonstone? Dr. Techniker had well acclimated to the hermit's habit of voicing his thoughts aloud. For unspoken years, he had peeled back this question, layer by layer. Its etymology steered him in the correct direction, he knew, but there was something missing. Urania Selene was the Attic title given, and the philosopher and psychoanalyst Carl Jung hinted at its relevance to the relation of being. You put it here, he continued in Germanic hue, and you become it to it. You put yourself here, and it becomes it to you. You sit atop a stone, but what is the stone's angle of direction? You can be on top or below, left or right, or diagonal to its position. You need a point of reference to aim to give it reason. On this, the doctor concluded his thought and proceeded to the corner which held the device he constructed that would give him the resources for honing in on the signal this legendary artifact emitted. His brows furrowed as he swept through its log. Nothing of value stood out to him. Exasperated by his efforts, he lifted his head up to the granite sky. A soft azure glow brightened from the abyss. As it drew nearer and nearer, now within intimate reach, as it floated steadily down from heaven, he extended his hand to touch it. Man to God, a blue static electricity struck them both, and the order seized his collected thoughts as he looked away from himself, and thus begun the construction of the Talos.